Starting your day with some inspirational quotes is a great way to go. Today we're going to talk about some Dan Lok quotes. And I think this is important because there's some good ones and some bad ones. And after working with a lot of clients, it's found that it's really important to make sure that you put the right things in to get the right things out. And I had a client, Sarah, who recently shared with me that reading some quotes is having both a positive and a negative effect depending on how she was starting her day and what quotes she was reading. So today we're going to review a few of those quotes, have a little bit of fun. And of course, if you like this content, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified by the little notification bell up in the corner. Like this video with a thumbs up if you enjoy it. And of course, leave a comment with any questions or thought that you've got about this video. Okay, so today I want to have a little bit of fun and I want to do some of these Dan Lok quotes. And I just, Dan Lok is a character in our space and he definitely, you love him or hate him, he's built a very successful business. He's a brilliant marketer. He's done a lot of things in the sales space. We've not had the best experience with people who have come from the Dan Lok program. And I hate to even say that, but in the coaching space, there's a lot of reps who have gone through his training and who are looking for gigs. And we found more often than not, they're very, very good at presenting themselves as somebody who has the skill set, but very rarely do they actually possess these skills themselves to follow through with that skill set. And so love him or hate him, he's built a very successful business and he certainly is a character that is very memorable in the suits that he wears and the way he presents himself. And he's got some really cool quotes that I want to kind of break down a few of them. Some of them I love and some of them I don't love so much. So one of the quotes that I love from Dan Lok, and I think this is just really the foundation of my success in sales, and really anyone who's entrepreneurial really embodies this quote. And that is, if you are focused on delivering value, money comes. And I can't stress this enough. The people that are going out there who are just trying to make as much money as possible and aren't thinking about what they're giving in return, even if they do attain some level of success, they almost always, it catches up with them eventually. And so you always want to be looking at the value for value exchange. And if you actually have the sales skill and you have the ability to deliver value, you can make a great income, not only in the coaching space, the consulting space, but in the world in general. Because when you're delivering value, then it's fair to expect value in return. And if you have the sales skill, then you're going to be able to negotiate the value for the value that you're providing. So I love this quote. I think it's a great one. And I recommend that you all embody this if you're in the sales process, because one of the values you have as a salesperson is to actually help the person you're talking to understand something that they didn't previously, why they've been stuck and what their reason for staying stuck is and what they're going to have to do to finally get away from being stuck and actually get the result that they want. And that's a huge value, because if you can help them see something they haven't seen before, they now have a new perspective on the world and they actually can do something with that. And that's hugely valuable. You combine that with the sales skill, you're then going to be able to use that to enroll them into working with you or into the program that you're selling. The next quote I really like is, extreme clarity leads to extreme results. Now, this is true on a lot of levels, but since we're talking sales, I want to focus very much on sales. And clarity is the key. When you have clarity on what the prospect's problems really are, what their doubts about their ability to solve it is, when you understand what it's costing them financially, emotionally, physically, in the relationships, etc., when you have that level of clarity, two things happen. One, you understand the problem. So now you can position your offer in a way to help them see how it's going to solve those problems. But two, in getting them to actually say out loud all of the things that have been affecting them and why they've been stuck and why they think they've been stuck and what they've tried and all of those pieces of the puzzle, they too also now have clarity. And they may have been telling themselves a story about why they were stuck, and it was actually keeping them stuck because they didn't have the clarity on the truth. If you can help them do that, then going back to the first quote, you actually are going to be creating value for them. And that's a very strong reason for them to enroll into working with you. Because if they get that kind of result on the sales call, they get that level of clarity, then they can only imagine what kind of clarity they're going to get in the coaching or consulting program that you're selling. The next quote that I really like is, you'll never outperform your self-image. And this is a really good one, and it's so true. The reality is that whether we want to admit it or not, we do have certain things that we believe about ourselves. These are things that come from early childhood conditioning, our experience, our past experiences, and we have beliefs about who we are in the world and how we show up. And we have things that we say to ourselves and ways that we talk to ourselves that sometimes are even almost on a subconscious level that we don't realize. And the reality is that if you have something inside you telling you that you're never going to be successful, that it's just not possible to make X amount of money, you're never going to be able to make more than this or that. If you tell yourself that you're incapable of learning new things, or one of my favorites, just to simplify it, is how many people have told me, "Oh, I'm bad at math." And then I dig in, and lo and behold, because I'm a very inquisitive person, part of what makes me good at sales is I'm very curious. It's like, well, why do you say that you're not good at math? And I had a friend tell me this recently, that they just never have been good at math. And when I dug in, I learned that they actually were really, really good at math up until like middle school. And they had this math teacher that was just not very nice to them, told them that they were never going to be good at math, and really just set that in their mind. And they had such a bad experience that from that day forward, she decided she hated math. And she just adopted that belief that she wasn't good at math. And the reality was that she made that choice to not be good at math because that's what her self-image dictated. And so you're never going to be able to outrun your self-image. So it's really important that we do that inner work and we really know who we are and what we stand for, because if we do, then we can create anything that we want in our lives. And we're also going to be much more suited to lead prospects on the phone and uncovering what's going on with them and helping them step into the identity that they need in their lives as well. The next one that I also really like is ask yourself, and this is probably one of my favorites, ask yourself, what would the best version of myself do? And one of the questions I ask that's actually similar to this that I like quite a bit is, what would the bold option be? Like what would be bold to do? Or what would a champion do? Those are the kinds of questions that we want to ask ourselves. And so you want to ask yourself, what would the best version of myself do? Because when you ask yourself that and then you look at what you're thinking about doing, if those two things don't align, then you can pretty much predict the results that you're going to get. So if you start asking yourself, what would the best version of myself do? And more often than not, taking the action that the best version of yourself would take, you're going to start getting the results that the best version of yourself would get. And I can tell you that those are the kinds of results that will lead to a much more empowered life, that will give you much more freedom, much more opportunity, allow you to serve a heck of a lot more people. When it comes to sales, it's also going to help you lead a lot more people to actually take the leap and invest with you and buy. Okay, so now let's get into a few of the quotes that I don't like as much, and I'll go into why as well. So one of them is, and on the surface, this one sounds okay. Once you know who you want to become, you know what actions you need to take to get there. Now, on the surface, this is a good quote. I actually like it a little bit, but the reality is that just because you know what you want to become doesn't mean you know the actions that it's going to take to get there. In fact, that's honestly one of the biggest gaps for people, is they see, oh, this is what I want to become, and I know maybe I need to be this kind of person to get that result, but I don't know what the actions that kind of person would take. I just don't have the broadness of understanding of what that person is like to get that result. And so really, the first step is to know what you want, right? What's your purpose? What's the thing that drives you? What's your big why, right? And really, what's the life or the vision that you want to create for yourself? You want to get really crystal clear on that. That's really good. But to know the actions that you need to take, you really need to look at the people that have accomplished those things. You need to look at what are the values and the principles that those people stand by. And the other thing that is really going to help you a lot, and being that I have been in the coaching and consulting space for so long, maybe I'm a little biased, but investing in somebody who has done what you want to do to show you the way. Because once you know what you want, you can find the people who have done it, and you can invest with them to walk you on that path. And I can't tell you that that is the shortcut to success, is to invest in someone who has done what you want to do and to have them guide you and show you how to do it. Now, your path is going to be slightly different than theirs, but having somebody who has done what you want to do guiding you is going to help you avoid the pitfalls. It's going to help you get there a lot faster. And it doesn't mean, if you're not in a place that you can invest to be able to do that, that doesn't mean you can't find the path. You can study those people. You can read their biographies and their books and watch their content on social media, and you can really envelop an understanding of who that person is and what they've done. But the shortcut is whenever you have the chance, is to invest in somebody to show you that path. The next one is follow the market, follow your gifts. What are you good at? Not necessarily what are you passionate about, but what are you actually good at? Now, this one almost makes me a little sick to my stomach. And on the surface, it might sound okay because, hey, it is important. What are you good at? And what you're good at might be a thing that you can do in order to fund and finance the thing that you're passionate about. But I can tell you that no matter how much money you make doing something just because you're good at it, doesn't mean that it's going to be long lasting. You need to find the thing that you would do for free. The thing that if you could do it all day long, it would get you excited to wake up in the morning and do the work. Because when you feel that way, you're going to master that. And when you master it, you will become good at it and you will make a great living at it. But you first have to find the passion that drives you. You have to find that inner fire. And so for me, I don't like this quote because I feel like it suggests that you should just take the path of least resistance. And sometimes the path of most resistance, but that's driven by passion, is going to help teach you a lot more about yourself. And it's going to lead you to something much, much bigger than just what you're capable of. And so I really encourage people to not worry about what you think you're capable of, because oftentimes that's mired in thoughts of lack and conditioning from childhood. What we want to focus on is, what's the passion? Because if you've got a passion, if there's something inside you that's driving you towards something, then my suggestion is that you trust it. You trust that as intuition and follow that. And I've found in my life, at least, that it has never led me astray. So the last one. And this one is just a little bit funny, but I think it's important. Kind of reminds me of The Gambler. There's a song in a movie called The Gambler. Never count your money at the table. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. This quote is actually, rich people count their money regularly. And I don't know why, but this one I just don't like it, because the reality is that maybe rich people do count their money regularly. I mean, there's no doubt that you should think about your finances. You should be looking at, what's happening in the world and making decisions that are going to lead you to all the things that you want to create. Again, based on your passion. And so that's really important. But for me, money just isn't the end all be all. I like making a great living. I like making money. Money has afforded me lots of opportunities to travel and to work with amazing mentors, to create amazing things in this world. But more than that, what I like is impact. And I would much rather count the people that I'm connected with and the lives that I've changed and the impact that I've had on those people, the jobs that I've created, the people that I've enrolled into programs that have literally transformed their lives through their business. Those are the things that I want to count. And the reality is, if you count those things, you're going to find that those things lead to a lot more money. But, it sort of reminds me of Scrooge McDuck, just sitting around counting, money in his bank vault. It's not really a great way to live. I would much rather focus on all the people I've served and all the people I've helped. And so I encourage you to do that as well. So those are just a few of Dan Lok quotes that I wanted to share. I thought this would be just a little bit of a fun video, kind of shake things up a little bit, and just give you some different perspectives, because we're all in this coaching space doing different things, and we've all got different perspectives, and you need to follow the one that resonates with you most. So if you liked this content, if you liked this video, or you've got a question about the content, make sure and leave a question in the comments below. In the description box, you will find a link to join our Facebook group with tons of free training and other resources to help you grow as a salesperson, to grow a sales team, or to just improve your sales process. If you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe so you get notified by the little notification bell in the corner. And of course, if you like this content, click the thumbs up, the like button to let us know. We sure do appreciate it.